What's going on, you guys? It is your boy, the American F1 fan, Eric Ringel here, and we're back with another video. F175 happened this week where each and every single team in F1 revealed their 2025 livery, but now it's time to rank all 10 liveries and see which ones were the best, which ones were the worst, and which teams maybe just copy and pasted from 2024. We're going to go in order, just like they did at F175, of the Constructors' Championship order from last year, starting with Kick. And I'm going to put each one of them up on the screen just so you can see each of the liveries as I'm rating them. But starting off with Kick, I love this weird Floviz green yellow that they have going. It's been a fan. It's a little weird this year. It almost just seems like they kind of just tried to make it pass for this season. And I mean, it's okay. I would say it's probably on the borderlines of average. So I'm just going to put it at a C for me. It's not bad, but it's not good. It seems almost like a weird copy and paste from last season, but I do see the changes, the subtle changes in the livery this season, and it's not bad. It's just I really wish they would have maybe put a little bit more work into it. So moving over to Williams, it was really hard for me to be able to tell when the Williams livery came out and was revealed. It was really hard for me to tell what Williams changed this season, and I get it. With F1 and all the teams, we're still in that mode of that paint counts against the weight of the car. And Williams didn't, they signed one major title sponsor this year, and that was very evident from the car this season. And I've heard people say that maybe it's a little bit lighter of a blue this year, but to me, it looks almost exactly the same, except this year you added the title sponsor to it. And for me, I just, anybody that I put in fail, literally, like Williams, did not change a thing with their livery this season. So moving on next to, I'm going to already say it even before I put it up on the list. I think these guys are the winners of the 2025 liveries this season, and that is V-Carb. I'm going to go ahead and already put them up in the A+, but I'm going to talk a little bit about them because I absolutely loved this white. It reminds you of the Honda tribute livery that Red Bull used. I think it was about a season or two ago, where they went white with, all still the Red Bull attributes, but it's just this yellow and the red, it just pops on this car, and it looks so darn, it looks fresh and it looks refreshing to see a team, really attempt to, go way different than they did last season. And it really showed in this car. It really shows that, it's really going to look good on the track, but I love the fact that this team almost said, let's listen to the fans. The fans want new livery. Let's give it to them. And this is what they put out, and more power to them. I think they won the livery reveal for 2025. Next, moving over to Haas, my team, the America's team in Formula One. I gotta say, for me, and I'm kind of a homer. I'm not gonna necessarily put it in the A+ category. I think there's some things that they can definitely have changed to really make this car pop, or to really make it look different, especially with it being their 10th season in Formula One. I was kind of expecting maybe to get some kind of special, livery for the season, celebrating 10 years of the team. Maybe incorporate all the colors that they've, kind of used in the past. In the video that they did at F175, they really kind of tried to play into, their American, standing and being the American team in Formula One. And so I thought maybe, just maybe, we would get, more of an American flair to this car, and we didn't. But it's not bad either. I like the white on the side pods with the black lettering. It's typically been that black with the white lettering. And I think the side pods looked really good as they kept the black coloring all kind of towards the middle of the car, and then, use the white where it need be. I didn't like the fact that the MoneyGram logo didn't go with the engine inlet like it did last season, but that was a small little thing for me. But for me, Haas's car looks really, really good, and so I'm going to give them a B. Moving on to Alpine next, and Alpine did a fantastic job with this one. You're kind of starting to see Alpine take a back seat as far as their colors. Yes, we did get the blue on their livery like we typically get, but we don't have any red. We don't barely have any white here. And BWT has taken more of a step forward as far as the primary sponsor on this car and having the pink within the car. But what I can say, though, is this pink and blue livery looks really flashy, and I was actually a huge fan of it. It took a little bit of time for it to grow on me, and I do have to say, at first I probably thought it was average, but I'm going to rank them at a B. So now moving into the top 5 teams, Aston Martin up next, and it just seems to me, and I'm hoping for sake of the team, they're not worrying about the livery this season, especially with Adrian Newey starting with Aston Martin fairly soon. It just, this car literally looks the exact same as far as the livery goes as to last season. There may be some subtle changes here and there, but I don't see them. And it was really sad. And I get that Aston Martin is such a, historical figure when it comes to James Bond and 007 and all that. But I don't know, the race, this green, I'm not a fan of. And, I can't get behind it. It looks like exactly last season's car. So, I say that Williams, they at least attempted to make some changes, whereas Aston Martin, literally, it looks like they copy and pasted from 2024. So I place them in the failed category. Next up, Mercedes. Now, granted, this paint job looks really, really good. They've incorporated the silver, the black, the teal, that the team has been so accustomed of. And I thought that Mercedes would take this opportunity to, really kind of make a change here. With Lewis Hamilton leaving the team this offseason and moving over to Ferrari, you had a chance with Mercedes to kind of give them a new identity, especially going into the last season of these regs and moving on to 2026 with new regs. And George Russell being your lead driver, Kimi Antonelli being the future of Mercedes. You had a really good chance here of, really being able to update the livery and kind of give us a fresh new look, in the last season of these regs. It's not necessarily a fail for me because I feel like that they really made some good changes to the livery, but I'm going to go ahead and give them a D. So next up on the list, Red Bull. What more can we say other than let's change the livery by changing sponsors on the rear wing, and that's going to be it, and we're just not going to give you anything else. They're the biggest trolls in F1. They always try to put out these little things that say, oh, the livery may change, and then they don't, and they give us the same old livery that we get season after season. And you would figure that with Adrian Newey leaving the team and them not finishing first in the constructor standings, maybe they would, break away from this livery and maybe try something else to, maybe change their luck going into 2025, maybe give themselves a realistic shot at, giving us something new that may lead us, in the future, and maybe will look really good. But again, they troll every single time. It's by far the worst on the grid. F, failed. quit copying, pasting, Red Bull. We need something new. Next up, second on the list is the Ferrari team. And I've heard a lot of people say that this white stripe kind of on the back engine cover that has the HP logo on it. I've heard a lot of people say that they hate it, that it's not one of their favorite looks. And I understand to a certain extent. I'm a fan of it, for one. I thought it looked really sleek. It looked really nice. They made the red a little bit darker this season. They got rid of a lot of the carbon fiber look that they had on last season's car on the side pods and engine cover. They got rid of a lot of that carbon fiber look to them. And I really got to say, the white stripe on the back looks really nice. And for a second, it almost reminded me of the Alfa Romeo that we saw a couple seasons ago when Alfa Romeo was in F1, with that white stripe. But the darker red really kind of made it and made Ferrari its own with this livery. So I went ahead and I'm going to give them a B. I'm going to go ahead and put them ahead of Haas, but not necessarily on that A+ border. And finally, on to McLaren. And I remember when I was watching the F175 live event, and we were listening to Zach Brown right before they revealed their logo. He made this comment, and I immediately knew, what he meant by saying it. And he said, he was talking about celebrating the history and talking about celebrating their Constructors' Championship from last season. And we got almost the exact same livery from last season from McLaren. I know there's, some changes here and there, and like really, really, really small changes. But I get that you want to celebrate the fact that you won the Constructors' Championship last season. But, I would have almost gone for that camouflage livery that they put out when they initially introduced their 2025 car. I would have much rather seen that as their livery this season than to, get the same exact car that we got in 2024. And so I went ahead and put them in the failed category. It's not bad. It's not as Aston Martin bad, but it's not as Williams bad. So I would put them in between Aston Martin and Williams. And, taking a final look at this list, obviously VCarb was the absolute winners of the livery reveal at F175. Ferrari, Haas, and Alpine really, kind of struck it up with their liveries, obviously making some pretty decent sized changes within their liveries. Then you had, Kick Sauber. I do love that high vis, paint job that they do in the gradient and how they made it kind of blend in with the rest. But again, they used a lot of black, and that tends to remind you of carbon fiber, which, carbon fiber paint jobs in Formula One are just absolutely hated. But then you talk about Mercedes. I do like the black, the silver, and the teal here, but I felt like they had an opportunity to really kind of, change the game for Mercedes now with Lewis Hamilton not there. And then obviously you see my fails. I'm really hoping that when 2026 comes around, we're going to definitely get some, much livelier, paint jobs from these teams. But guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of each livery. Let me know your grades, where you would grade them at, between A+ and the failed category. Let me know in the comment section down below, guys. And as always, let me know also what other videos you would like me to do on the channel. And if you guys are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. It means the absolute world to me. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers, which would be a huge milestone for this channel going into the 2025 season. So please, if you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And guys, for the American F1 fan, I'm Eric Ringel, signing off.